Good morning. Welcome in. This is Three Man Front, Jocks 94.5. Pat Smith, Conrad Van Order, Landrum Roberts, Molly Robinson with you until 2 o'clock. We appreciate you tuning us in on this gorgeous day in central Alabama. So much to get into. We will continue to follow the college football playoff discussion as, man, the knives are still out against the SEC and the Big Ten about the proposed 4-4-2-2-1 model. We will continue that conversation. Talk a little baseball. Unfortunately, the Braves taking on the chin last night to the Diamondbacks. We've got the Rickwood game going on in about 2 hours from now at the historic Rickwood Field. A lot to get into today. We would love to hear from you at 1-800-239-WJOX. The Courtesy GMC text line always open at 205-834-9450. Just want to thank my teammates here publicly on the air for being at the breakfast this morning. We had an opportunity to do a Q&A with Jim Cott at Regions Field. And one thing's for sure, hopefully it came across last week when we interviewed Jim Cott, but having an opportunity to spend some private time with the Hall of Famer and then doing the Q&A, easily one of the top 5 people I've ever been around in this industry. Just a first-class human being, a gentleman, and hopefully it came across this morning. He's just a great dude.
No, and the fact that he had the career that he did and being a Hall of Famer, 16 Gold Gloves, but just hearing him and how he used to listen to baseball games and how he would try to emulate what he heard there in his driveway before he became a pitcher, but then just his athletic ability. Being able to shoot his age as a righty and a lefty in the same week.
That's crazy.
What?
That's
nuts. Are you kidding me? And then winning 7 Emmys. I'm glad you brought that up for his broadcasting career. And at the age of 86, not saying that this can't happen, but he is sharp as a tack.
He sure is. Absolutely. And he's still in great shape. He was kind of joking around with me as we were coming off the stage. He was like, man, I'm really glad that they have these stairs here. They think because I'm a former ball player and I was a pitcher that I could just jump up on this ramp like it's no big deal, but I need these railings. I said, well you're in great shape to be 86, Jim.
He starts reliving some of those games that he played, and he's talking about pitching to Ted Williams. What? Sitting there and chewing the fat with one of my heroes in Hank Aaron, and all of the guys that he was discussing and just those memories that could have gone on. I could have sat there and listened for days. It was awesome, and it was truly great to meet him.
Well, and it's the fact that, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, a 16-time Gold Glove winner, and the way that he talked about, like when he was sharing stories with Sandy Koufax and how, I mean, he is a Hall of Fame pitcher, and he's talking about these other guys they were just in a completely different league. Like, as humble as could be, like, just and how he was talking about how grateful he was to get to share a field with the all-time greats, not really even considering the fact that he is in that group as well, and just the admiration that he had for all of the players that we all grew up loving and watching was awesome.
You had the Q&A. You did a wonderful job, Pat, and the questions that you asked and the things that you brought up. If we had an opportunity for you to hand the microphone out into the audience, the question I was going to ask, and I was going to apologize as I was asking it because it would be putting him on the spot, but what are your thoughts on Pete Rose and Barry Bonds?
That would have been good. That would have been really good.
I would love to hear it from someone who played the game, appreciates the game, knows the ins and outs, and is a member of the Hall of Fame. Would you like them to join you in the Hall?
You know, it was one of those things, and I had the itinerary of when we were supposed to start things up. Microphone out to the crowd, but that was kind of into our discussion. Field lost power.
Molly. Circuit.
Molly said she was happy about it.
Yeah, because she was freezing.
It was freezing.
It was cold.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't that. But we just pivoted.
Hey,
I mean,
still worked.
2 broadcasting pros just rolling with
no,
it.
not me. I mean, I've never won an Emmy. That guy won 7.
Well, you just wait.
Oh, is it coming?
It's coming.
I was hoping for a Peabody Cable Ace Award, but that never came.
You're gonna get one.
But I really do appreciate everyone that attended this morning, and I know Jim's going to be out at Rickwood Field. So if many of you are listening to our broadcast now, going out to the game, I talked to Jonathan Nelson, general manager of the Barons, for a couple minutes, and he said tickets have been gone like crazy. Like, it's going to be a great crowd. It's going to be a great afternoon of baseball at Rickwood Field. So if you're going out to the game and you have an opportunity to go up and have a conversation or get your picture taken or an autograph with Jim Cott, it will be worth your time.
I wish we were going to be out there. I know that we'll have another opportunity to be out
soon.
There. Very, very soon.
Soon. We'll be about out at Rickwood Field. Matter of fact, Conrad was out at Rickwood Field yesterday, rubbing
how the ground's looking
with Mike Newton and the rest of the fine crowd.
It looked nice. It was cool. I was talking to Mike. It was just because we've been out there a few times since last summer, but going back out there now when they're getting ready for an event, it just feels, it's not the same. You don't have all the, I guess, the fan zone or whatever that they put up last year, but just seeing, different concession stands being put up and memorabilia being put out and new stuff in the gift shop. It's just cool to have that buzz of, hey, there's going to be a few thousand people here at Rickwood tomorrow that get to experience this. So.
Did you guys have a 15-minute Yankees love fest?
Yes, we did.
Did you just hug each other and talk about all the great things that Aaron Judge has done?
Yeah, well, it was funny because we were talking about, man, I just, with Luke Weaver getting hurt and now Devin Williams have to rely on him. And so then last night when Devin Williams gave up a home run in the ninth inning, me and Mike were texting each other. But, hey, we won the game, so it's all right.
Oh, going back to what Jim Cott had to say and talking about those Yankees. And the 1998 Yankees.
He said the 1998 Yankees team was the best team that he had ever seen.
It's a good team.
He said, and especially if you want to put it into context, the last 30 years, there has not been a team that's been better. They had it all.
I mean, here's a guy that played 25 years in Major League Baseball, played on some really good teams.
Yeah.
Got to the World Series twice, once with the Twins in '65 and with the Cardinals in '82. And he saw some players.
Mm-hmm.
He saw some dudes. And so for him to make that comment this morning that the 1998 Yankees team was the best one he'd ever seen.
I loved his comment, too, about the modern game and what we see in Major League Baseball and talking about your 82 Cardinals and station-to-station baseball and how much the game has changed.
Yeah, the Cardinals in 1982 hit 67 home runs. And he made a joke. He said Aaron Judge is probably going to have 67 this year by himself.
Yeah, and what did he say? He said this is like adult T-ball, what we get now.
That was a good line.
That was really good.
Yeah, I wish we could have recorded what he said about pitchers as well and just send that out as a PSA to parents everywhere. I thought that was very much poignant.
Jim Cott is not a big fan of this travel ball.
No.
We talked about it yesterday on the show, and then who was he talking about?
Mike Matheny.
Mike Matheny.
Yeah, Mike Matheny, the former Cardinals manager, who also was a catcher for the Cardinals, lives in suburban St. Louis, and he started a travel ball team for one of his sons. Both of his sons ended up playing collegiate baseball. I think one with the Michigan Wolverines. They were very good players. I'm not sure if they're still toiling around in the minors, but he decided that his youngest, he was going to be a travel ball coach. And you pick up the story, what Jim said, what he had the parents do.
So Matheny agrees he's going to be a travel ball coach, and but he said, look, there's going to be rules. You're going to do it my way if I'm going to do this. So he calls all the parents over to his house, and he makes them sign contracts. And he says, no phone calls. You can't come to practice. None of that. We're going to do this my way. And he said they were a few weeks in, and he got the call from the parent, from a mom.
Yeah.
She was concerned because Johnny wasn't playing. And he had to go to the young man, Johnny, and say, I'm sorry, your mom violated the contract. You can no longer be on the team. How about that?
I love it.
That is something else.
Need more of that.
That you made the parents sign a contract.
That should be done.
And then all of a sudden, you violated the contract.
I can't imagine what it is now because you still umpire, but I umpired and I did a lot of all-star tournaments and stuff coming up. And some of the things that you see from coaches, from parents, it's just...
There were about 4 or 5 questions that I nixed up on stage because I was trying to be reverent to everyone's time.
Sure.
Because it is breakfast. A lot of people came to breakfast. They got to go to work. We have a radio show to do. He's got to get to Rickwood. So, there were like 3 or 4, but I took one of the questions that you actually asked him a week and a half ago when he was on the show, that I was going to have him expand on, but I know that it was going to be an expansion in regards to his answer.
Yeah.
Which that might have thrown off the rest of the program. So there were 3 or 4 others that I really wanted to get, the pitch clock, injuries in baseball, all those type things, and just kind of ran out of time. But
no, but you checked all the boxes and you covered everything in that amount of time. There's other things obviously that you always want to ask, but
I did tell Pat
You
he should have
encapsulated it
closed.
nicely.
He should have closed with one of BB's Pat Ponders questions. For
Now,
Jim
that would have
Cott.
been good. That would have been good.
Sure
If
you
you
would
were
have
at a
appreciated
nudist
that.
colony and there's a bag of baseballs,
Do you pick up the baseballs or do you look at the people on the beach? That is a good one. So Jim Cott today at the Rickwood game honoring the Negro Leagues coming up at 12 noon. All right, so I got to ask you, how much of the Braves game did you listen to last night? Just be honest.
we listened, but we watched a good bit. My wife wanted to watch, and my wife wanted to watch. We did see Freddie Gonzalez. I'm glad that he waved around Matt Olson to score, which was nice. Thought Matt Olson was
So
very
his
awkward at
arm
home
didn't
plate.
fall out of joint as he was waving him
But
home?
my wife, she's really reserved. But at about the fifth, sixth inning, she looks at me. She said, "You know it's bad when I can look at their body language. This team, they are not in it. They are done. You could see it. And when the fan and to her point, when fans like her
Mhm.
or people that are watching start noticing that, we're probably looking for it more, just doing what we do and being really passionate about baseball." She noticed it. She said, it's pathetic. Even in the eighth inning, you're losing. And there's guys, they're just, hey, smiling. I'm not saying you have to act like it's the end of the world, but act like you halfway care. And they don't. They don't look like they do right now.
Diamondbacks win 8-3. Strider, rough outing, 6 hits, 5 runs, gives up 3 home runs in the game. He's given up 5 home runs in 19 innings pitched. His ERA has ballooned now to 5.68. He's 0-4 on the season. The Braves have now lost 9 of their last 12. They're 5 games under 500, 10 games back in the NL East. And the Diamondbacks had a 5-game losing streak. And so they beat the Braves last night.
This is a common theme. NL West teams with losing streaks play the Braves, and kind of goes away, unfortunately.
The Diamondbacks tonight, Merrill Kelly, 5-2, 3.78 ERA. He'll face reigning National League Cy Young Award winner Chris Sale, who's pitched much better of late. Very good. 3-3, 3.06 ERA in the second game of this 3-game set. And I heard you talking about it this morning, Conrad. If you're looking for a positive for this Braves team, they started out 0-7. And since that first week of the season, you are 2 games above 500.
It's just unfortunate that you can't wave a magic wand and get rid of those first 7 games
Correct.
that are putting you in the hole right now.
You know, you fight so hard to get to 500, and I guess the high water mark's been 1 or 2 games above 500 for them.
It's been 2.
2? Okay. You battle, try to erase that 7-game skid to start the season. And then all of a sudden now you've taken 3 or 4 steps back, and now you're all of a sudden 5 games below 500. And that's when you start looking at the baseball calendar. We always look at Memorial Day as being, really the first indicator.
Yeah.
Like where's a team at Memorial Day? All right. Then you get to the 4th of July. And then all of a sudden, trade deadline. Those are the kind of the marks that you look at in regards to, is this team going to be competitive? Do we need to do something in the market? And now for the Braves, it's going to take them at least, even if they went on a winning streak, it's going to take them another week off the calendar just to get above 500. And then you have to look above you to see what's going on. Like I gave this example yesterday, the Cardinals played outstanding baseball in the month of May, but they actually, I think, lost ground in the standings to the Cubs because the Cubs were playing better than what the Cardinals were. And now the Cardinals have lost a couple games in a row, and the Cubs keep winning. And then all of a sudden, we're back to 5 games back in the National League Central. So it's just tough, but you really can't do anything till you get to 500. And unfortunately, I agree with everything you just said and what Dorothy said.
Yeah.
The body language, even for those that do not follow the Braves on every single pitch, because I admit I watch them, but I don't follow them when the Cardinals are on. But when I do turn over and I'm watching as just an innocent bystander, I see exactly what Dorothy's talking about.
Yeah. And look, we're going to continue to be fans.
Sure.
It's a great experience going over there, even if they're playing bad baseball. But it's very disheartening, especially if you've become accustomed, and this goes back to 21, to just being competitive having a team that goes out there and they actually care and they look like they're having fun playing baseball and being teammates. And you don't see any of that. None of the shots that you get in the dugout. You've got little segments or guys sitting by himself. Even when they're celebrating, a guy scores a run. It's not. And I know we talk about the over the top stuff they do at the college level, but none of that. It's just okay. Checking a box. When's the game going to be over? Where are we going?
And I can't remember if you mentioned it yesterday or if it was Baird on Friday, but how much of this do you really think is, a guy like Travis d'Arnaud? I know you mentioned how important he was. Is that, can you really just point at that as you just need somebody in that locker room that's going to bring everybody together?
I think that's part of it, Conrad. Situational hitting, and last night was a great example. The Braves have two guys on, and you've got the heart of your order coming up, and you can't buy one against the guy that once pitched for you. I don't know what it is. There seems like there's a lot going on. I don't think that you can point at one particular area.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues.
It's not just the clubhouse. Starting pitching, I mean, for the most part, the pitching hasn't been terrible. You've had some trouble in relief, but guys Drake Baldwin has been the bright spot. I mean, Drake Baldwin is going up there with a purpose every time. He hit a home run last night.
And see, that's why I think that Sean Murphy is going to be one of the carrots.
He needs to be.
That the Braves can kind of dangle out there and say, hey, you guys interested in this?
Yeah. Because
you could get a nice return.
Yeah.
For Murphy.
Give me Drake Baldwin every game.
Yeah. This is 3-Man Front, Jocks 94.5, great radio stations like the Ump up in Huntsville, Jocks 740 in Montgomery. Coming up at 10:45, Vegas insider Brian Edwards is going to join us. We will talk NBA Finals. He continues his hot streak when it comes to the gambling world on that side of basketball. We'll also give him some opportunities to talk about some of these early lines for Alabama football games, see if there's anything from a futures standpoint. 12 noon, John Talty from CBS Sports will join the program as we'll get his latest on what the heck is going on in the college football playoff world. All this on a busy Wednesday. This is Jocks 94.5. Our good friend Rocco Miller, who is a regular during the college basketball season, one of the leading bracketologists in all of college basketball, he is reporting this morning that Kennesaw State and Alabama will meet in a neutral site game at Probst Arena in Huntsville on Sunday, December 21st. Antoine Petway will face his alma mater. He played at Bama, and he was a coach for Nate Oates until he took the Kennesaw State job a couple years ago. So they will be playing in this non-conference game coming up on December 21st.
And where's that going to be?
In Huntsville.
You said the Probst Center?
Yep.
Nate Oates loves playing his former assistants because they scheduled UTSA a couple weeks ago, and that's where Austin Claunch, I think is his name, the former assistant to Nate Oates. Yeah, he loves scheduling those former coaches.
Yeah, and that's the same building that hosted the Conference USA basketball tournament this last year, and I believe it's back in Huntsville in 2026.
Well, Diamonds Direct offers an extensive collection of hand-selected diamonds and fine jewelry, from timeless classics to trending styles. Every piece is handpicked by their buyers to ensure superior quality and value. And with Diamonds Direct unmatched selection, you're sure to find the perfect item that you're looking for. I went just a few weeks ago, and their showroom is absolutely amazing. But if you don't see exactly what you're looking for, that is no problem at all for them, because their experts will help you out with a custom design that's been on your mind right there in the showroom. So that's our friends over at Diamonds Direct.
So the Colorado Rockies, they win their second game in a row last night. What's going on?
They won a series.
They had a winless streak of 22 series until last night.
Well, my question was, is this the first series they've won? I guess so. It is.
They had lost 22 series in a row until they played the Marlins last night. They beat them 3-2. So for the second consecutive night, we got ourselves a winning streak in the Rockies.
Yes.
How about that?
If you've had the season that they've had to this point, you know this is going to be one of the better chances you're going to have to get a win against this Marlins team.
No doubt.
I hope they absolutely blew it out last night.
You think they went
like
to
it was
South Beach?
1999.
Like they went to the Clevelander and just
Yeah.
hung out all night?
Just blew off some steam.
Maybe that's why they're successful. Maybe they've just taken the attitude of, hey, y'all, no curfew tonight. Y'all live it up like Mickey Mantle did in the 60s.
Loading.
Just have at it.
They play the Marlins today, right?
Might be a day game today. Let me check.
If they do, load up on the Marlins.
They are now projected to win 29 games this year. It was 25 the other day. Now it's 29.
That is incredible.
Massive.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is an 11-10 game. So coming up in about 40 minutes.
What's the pitching matchup?
Kyle Freeland is on the bump for the Rockies, and Cal Quantrill is on the bump for the Marlins.
Yeah.
That's an 11-10. Miami is a minus 150 on the money line.
Yeah.
Are you going for the sweep? You taking the Rockies?
No.
Rockies
No,
plus
no,
one?
no, no, no,
way.
no, no,
No
no.
way.
No.
Okay. You were talking yesterday about how your account has got down to $5. I was just trying to
I know.
see
That's
if
a
we
lot
could-
that's a lot of losses on those $2 bets.
see if we could inflate it.
No, not. I'm going to save it. That last $3. I'm going to save it for something special.
I thought you were at $5. You're at $3.
I think I'm somewhere. I think I'm 5 maybe.
Okay. All right.
Does it really matter? 3 and 5. I might bet on the NBA.
I was about to say, Brian's been
Yeah.
hot.
That would be
I would take his
That
advice.
would be a great. This is what you need to tell him at 10:45. You need to say, "Look, I don't want to get into anything like in detail here, but I got to win tonight.
Yeah.
Like I need a win, like big time.
Yeah.
You got to give me something. What are you giving me? That way you can double your $3.
Well, and you're such a big Indiana Fever fan that I imagine you're also
Well, with Caitlin
you're
Clark
an Indiana
being out,
Pacers fan
Yeah.
as well.
but see,
I
since
would
Caitlin
imagine.
Clark's out, he's not betting any
Oh, okay.
because the Fever. He's not.
Huge
I-
Pacers fan.
I was just saying you have an angle for the
Huge.
finals since you're a big
Huge.
Pacers fan.
Rick Smith's my favorite growing up.
Reggie Miller was mine.
Reggie Miller. Rick Smith's.
So both good ones.
Larry Bird when he was the.
Did Mark
head coach.
Jackson play there too?
I think so.
And the Knicks fired their coach after the run
They
that
did
had.
fire. Look at Landrum. He's locked into the NBA.
Hey, it's
Listen.
$5, man. I gotta find out where I'm gonna put it.
He watches Inside the NBA with Chuck.
Oh, I know.
He knows what's going on.
You love Tibbs. Yeah, you really tore up about that last night.
Yeah.
So you're our local NBA expert. Why did they fire him?
Because they do not like. So there's been I guess the fans had wanted him to be gone for a while, but apparently. So first off, I think there's an issue with him and Karl Anthony Towns. So a lot of them don't want Karl Anthony Towns there anymore. But I guess the general belief is just defensively they don't try. Which, I mean, it's the NBA,
It's
right?
the NBA.
Yeah, okay, but
You
they
gotta
try
fire every coach.
They try even less than other teams, which is really shocking.
Well,
So that seems to be a lot of the concern there. Is just they don't like the way that his style of running the offense and defensively, and he's been a defensive guy throughout his entire career, and now the NBA has kind of shifted away from that. And
So which was more shocking, what Denver did or what the Knicks did yesterday?
what Denver did? I think the writing on the wall was with Tibbs. Outside of the fact that I mean, you just made it further in the postseason than you had in 25 years for the Knicks, but no, the Denver thing was pulling the rug out from underneath.
Did Spike Lee make the call on this?
Maybe so, but it is interesting because you know how quickly the rumor mill starts to circulate. You know who the hot names are right now,
Rick Pitino,
and another coach that he's not coaching right now.
Avery Johnson.
No,
Luke Carnesecca.
won a couple of titles here recently. Not coaching anymore.
I'm sorry.
Really
I think
good
he's passed away.
broadcaster.
Sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Who?
Jay Wright.
Ah.
Didn't he do a podcast a couple years ago that's come to light where he said that I think it was Barstool that asked him, give us the one NBA team that you would want to be the head coach of. And he said the Knicks.
Yes, but there's also people that have come out. I think Seth Davis was one that said, hey, I've worked with them for a couple years. Don't think he would be interested, but maybe they still kick the tires. But yeah, Pitino and Jay Wright were the names that everybody wanted.
I'm trying to remember how many years Pitino was with the Knicks.
That's a good question.
But for that Knicks job, it's like, I don't know what the equivalent would be in college, but it seems like, man, that'd be a cool job. That's an iconic team. That's an iconic brand, which it is. But coaching there seems like it would be miserable.
3 years.
3 years for the Knicks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, 87, 88, and 89.
Like, I don't know, what would it be? UCLA basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, head coach at UCLA. And then you look at it and it's like, well, that's changed and it's really not that good of a job anymore.
It's a good comparison.
Ask Mick Cronin. He'll complain about it.
He complains about everything.
He really does.
Maybe the Knicks can hire him.
Coming up on three-man front, Chipper Jones has a message for college baseball. What's the message and why is he so irritated at college baseball? We'll tell you about it next on Three-Man Front. Well, if you're planning a trip to the Bahamas to go to the Bahamas Bowl, might ought to call your travel agent. Kind of put that on hold. News this morning that the Bahamas Bowl will not be held in the Bahamas this year.
Again?
I know.
Ugh.
This will be the second time in 3 years that the bowl was moved. In 2023, the Bahamas Bowl was played in Charlotte when the stadium in the Bahamas was not available.
Tell me we're going to another island. Let's go Kokomo.
There is not a, that's a made-up island, by the way.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's go to Kokomo.
It's real. I think it's real.
I don't know what's going on. I understand a couple of years ago they were doing some renovations to the stadium. They were doing some things. That was one of the bizarre things about that stadium is that one of the end zones was not a full 10 yards. Did you not realize that?
I think I do remember that. The thing that I remember is just the lack of security and that anybody could walk down on the field.
Yes. Yeah. Back when UAB played there for their first time in a bowl game there in the Bahamas, Kerry Adams, who works with us for a long time here on the Feinbaum Show and here on Jocks, he went down. He was in the Bahamas anyway, and he took the opportunity. Good UAB graduate, wanted to go to the game. And literally, like when he showed up to get a credential, they had like a box of just like
Find your name,
just like cardboard stuff, and it was just like, just grab something,
Write your name on it,
and just walk on in. And literally, that's what the Islanders were doing. Like, hey, what's going on? There's something going on at the stadium.
Yeah,
just waltz right in, and it's not soccer. And they turn around and walk back out.
Must be nice.
Let's bring a bowl game back to Cuba. We used to get that.
Yeah, Auburn played in that, did they not?
Yeah, they did. Bacardi Bowl.
Yeah. I think Auburn played there.
They played Villanova.
Yeah, I like Trey Wallace, who's a friend of the show. He had this tweet this morning. He said, "Welcome to the Bahamas Bowl here in San Antonio, Texas, inside the Alamo Dome." Yeah, that's what we're headed towards probably.
Well, yeah, and I understand a couple of years ago when they had to move it to Charlotte because they were doing some renovations on the stadium. But, yeah, one end zone was only, I think, 9 yards. And it also had the running pit, the triple jump pit was in the end zone. That's why, is they couldn't cover that up. So
I got an idea, and this goes back to something we talked about several years ago, and it became kind of the craze on social media. Let's do it at the infield at Talladega.
Great idea.
How many SEC football stadiums you could fit on the infield inside of Talladega?
Awesome.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Let's do it.
I mean, I thought it was great the way that they did at Bristol when you had the Tennessee. That atmosphere, that was very cool.
By the way, the Braves, and they played that Bristol game
against the Reds.
Thinking about doing it.
You should.
That thing's not sold out, right?
I would not think so. Not from a Braves perspective.
No.
I was about to say, kudos to you for still being motivated to go.
You're going to drive to Bristol, Tennessee for that?
Well, it's rare.
No, it is rare.
It's rare. I just assumed that it wasn't, not because of lack of interest, but how many seats that they were going to be able to put together there. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That would be the only reason I go to Bristol, to be honest with you.
What's the tickets going for, Molly?
Oh, they have a ton of them. Looks like the cheapest ticket's about $95.
Okay.
That's really not that bad.
Where does that?
Looks like you got pretty good availability.
What section? Am I in the tower?
Oh, you'll be where the pit crews are.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be way down there.
Isn't it a Tim McGraw concert the night before?
I don't need to see Tim McGraw again.
Okay. I was just
No.
I was trying to plan your itinerary
with spray tan
for the next couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, these look like you could get decent seats, like I guess in what would be one of the front rows, I guess, of the seating bowl, and it's $115.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, that's not cheap, but
yeah,
it's not bad for a good seat.
At that point, the Braves might be doing what they did with Ted Turner and just like raffling off a chance to manage the team.
Maybe so.
I'll tell you what.
Hey, you have experience as a Barons bat boy. Maybe you can go be a Braves.
There's going to be a lot. The demeanor in that dugout is going to be a lot different. We're hustling on and off the field. We're cheering for our teammates. Tell you that. We're diving for baseballs. How about our friends at Dobbs Ford? They're doing that for you every single day on Parkway East in Birmingham. They got Alabama's largest showroom selection. And right now, with select makes and models, you're going to pay what the Ford employees pay 90 days until your first payment. But the great thing, besides the inventory, is just the great people you're going to see there at Dobbs. Joey and Rachel Goshen, the managing partners. They do an awesome job. Their entire team there, from Expeditions, the F-150s, the Mustangs, the Broncos, and the Bronco Sports. Go see and feel the difference at Dobbs Ford Parkway, East in Birmingham, dobbsfordbirmingham.com. Always tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So I told you before the break that Chipper Jones had a warning on social media. Take a listen to this. Chipper says, spent quite a bit of time watching college baseball this weekend. I will only watch a select few teams from here on out. Reason? They have coaches that respect the game and their opponents and demand the same of their players. Any team that doesn't wear the uni correctly, taunts the other team, and has a coach that condones this behavior is a disgrace to the game. Big fan of Coach Schnall at Coastal Carolina. Him and his team represent what college baseball should be like. Well done, sir. You stand for proper behavior. That was Chipper Jones on social media.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about Florida because they're no longer playing.
Don't have to worry about Georgia and their shirts being unbuttoned down to their navels.
Wake Forest.
They're done.
They're done.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Vitello in Tennessee
Is still playing.
They're still playing. Maybe he'll be at Plainsman Park on Friday for Coastal and for Auburn.
Maybe.
Butch Thompson. He respects the game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just still hates Florida because he was going to go play college ball at Miami, so that just runs deep for him.
Chipper would have done really well at Miami.
I'm really glad that he came out and said what he did.
Absolutely.
I am too.
On social media.
Absolutely.
And he absolutely was talking about Georgia not wearing the uniforms right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. No.
Not a fan of Georgia.
No, I'm not. But
The
yeah,
entire
no,
state.
the whole. No, it's a great state. But yeah, I mean, you could see the dude's belly button essentially through his jersey. Like, yeah, no room for that.
You don't wear socks. We can see your feet through
Yeah.
your shoes.
And I'm not getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to go play college athletics and wear a uniform.
Okay.
Now, if we had a foot camera for YouTube, I would have to start wearing socks.
Have
but
you been to my website?
Unfortunately, we don't have that yet.
Have
No,
you
won't
been
let-
to my
You
website?
won't give me access.
What do your ankles look like?
Cankly.
Yeah.
They're not hairy, are they?
Well, speaking of Auburn, some good news. The Auburn Super Regional is officially sold out, which is not a surprise because over 22,000 people showed up last weekend for just the regionals. So there's limited general admission inventory. It may become available on game day because of ticket returns. So any available tickets would be sold at first come, first serve. So if you do not have tickets for the Auburn Super Regional against Coastal Carolina this weekend and you want to take a risk and go down there, there may be some GA tickets, but you're going to have to wait around the ticket office and see if something is returned. So,
No.
should be a good crowd.
Do you get far enough back now where it's the residence hall?
Now, can't you get up on the parking deck?
You can, but that's a tough spot.
I'm
Just
sure
looking at
that's-
some of the camera angles, that thing was filled up.
Yeah.
You could get on maybe one of those back hills behind the batter's eye,
Mhm.
way back. I don't know if you would need scaffolding or maybe to stand on stilts, but I think the broadcast, they've done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Not just there, across the board on some of these regionals.
Coming up next, we will talk to Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider, our weekly discussion about what's going on in the world of sports in Las Vegas. That's next on Three Man Front.
10:45, three-man front here on a Wednesday. Glad you're with us. Down in Montgomery, up in North Alabama and Huntsville, the surrounding area. Those of you watching Jocks TV on YouTube, welcome. As Pat is waving. And check it out. We're all actually dressed pretty nice today.
We had to get out early.
That's right. We had to go.
We had to represent the brand.
That's right.
Now, Molly, she had a wardrobe change.
Of course.
Conrad wore no socks and shorts to the event, which right on brand for Conrad.
Hey, I wore socks this morning.
You know what, though?
And khaki shorts.
He brushed his hair.
He did.
You can tell he's washed it this week.
I was about to say, I woke up and took a shower at 5 a.m. this morning just for Jim Cott.
Not for us, but for Jim Cott.
For Jim Cott.
Yeah.
Very nice of you. Our Vegas insider, Brian Edwards, joins us, as all of our guests do, on the Higginbotham Hotline. Brian, how are you?
Doing great, fellas. What's happening?
All right, so in this certain account I will not name, it is one that I can access via my phone. I do these $1, $2 bets. It's kind of fun. I put in like $20, $25 a few years ago, and I just do it, for show purposes and just kind of, piddle. Right now my account is down to, checked it in the break. I think I'm at $4 and like 73 cents. I've got one NBA bet. Give me a winner.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's go with the Indiana Pacers plus 9.5 tomorrow night at OKC. Now, OKC beat them pretty good when they played in OKC. OKC also won the game in Indiana, but that was a close one, won by 6 as a 5-point road favorite. But, I think Indiana's a different team in these playoffs. They've been fantastic. They've won outright and covered in all 3 of their series openers, which was 121-112 at Cleveland as an 8.5-point road underdog. Had the great comeback at MSG as a 4.5-point dog, and they smashed Milwaukee 117-98 when they were 6-point home favorites. So game ones have been good to them. OKC has been good in game ones as well, but lost outright to Denver in the West semifinals. And its last 14 as an underdog, Indiana is 10-4, both straight up and against the spread. And their last 7 on the road in the playoffs, they are 6-1, both straight up and against the spread. So OKC was clearly the better team in the regular season, but I think Indiana has upped their play. And I like Indiana catching the big number in game 1.
Brian, I used to watch the NBA a lot. I loved it growing up. The game has changed, and I fell out of love quickly. Is this the point because it's game 1 of the finals? Am I correct? And they actually start playing defense when it's the finals?
OKC plays great defense, and it's going to be a big challenge for Tyrese Halliburton because he's got Alex Caruso and Lou Dort, who are 2 of the better defenders in the league. And, they play pretty much, they don't play as many minutes as Tyrese. So it's going to be a big challenge for Tyrese. But he's come up big in these playoffs. We'll see what he can do against OKC. But, I mean, if you're looking for a lot of defense, both these teams like to score. Indiana's number 1 in 3-point percentage, and they go up and down. So I don't know if this is your series. It's not going to be Knicks, Pacers, late 90s, first one to 80 wins. It won't be one of those.
And I'm going to pull a Pat because this is my last $4.73. If things are not going well, I will start giving you a hard time during the game.
That's okay. No problem. No problem. I've been used to taking a little flack here and there for bad picks over the last couple decades.
He's used to me giving him a hard time, no question about it. All right, so you like the Indiana Pacers tomorrow night plus 9.5 at OKC. All right, so let's talk a little football. Let's talk about some games of the year. You like the Gators minus 2.5 versus Tennessee, and what about the Iron Bowl, which currently has the Tide a 7.5-point favorite on the road at Jordan-Hare? Talk to us about those 2 games.
Yeah, I think the Gators are pretty undervalued with a lot of their spreads in games of the year. But the one that really, really stood out was minus 2.5 at home to Tennessee. So you could argue that Tennessee's had the better team the last 3 years, and they have won 2 out of 3. But the Gators have covered in all 3 and shoulda, woulda, coulda won last year. Billy Napier was kind of painting his Mona Lisa in clock management and ineptitude and just general ineptitude in the first half, especially the end of the first half when Florida had like a minute and a half and 2 timeouts and were in the red zone and ended up running out of time and getting a flag on the field goal and not scoring. But anyway, they outplayed them big time at the Swamp 2 years ago in a 29-16 win. Florida's only a 2.5-point favorite to Tennessee. With Nico transferring, first off, the 2.5-point home favorite spot for Florida implies that Tennessee is more highly power rated on a neutral field, which I think is way off, especially with Aguilar, the former App State QB at quarterback. I mean, look, if Lagway is healthy and Napier's not, being a complete buffoon, Florida should be pretty darn good this year. And I definitely think they beat Tennessee minus 2.5 at home. Definitely should have won at Neyland last year and have dominated Tennessee for the most part for really 4 decades. So Florida minus 2.5, I like a lot. I also like Auburn plus 7.5 at home to Bama. Look, if Jackson Arnold, and that's a big if, and I always say this time of year, if with like quarterback play, because as a handicapper, you got to be really, really willing to change all your preseason thoughts on a team if the quarterback isn't performing like you were hoping. So, I say with the Gators, if Lagway's healthy, and look, Jackson Arnold doesn't have to live up to his 5-star billing coming out of high school. He's got a really good roster around him. Auburn could have been a lot better the last 2 years. They went 1-3 in one possession games, but last year and Freeze's first year, they got 2 4-star wide receivers coming in, and Eric Singleton and Horatio Fields to go with Cam Coleman, also Malcolm Simmons, who had a good freshman year for Auburn. So if Jackson Arnold plays pretty good, I think Auburn will be pretty good, and Auburn plus 7.5 at home to anybody if they're getting good quarterback play and what I think will be an improved roster, I think it's attractive. So I like Auburn plus 7.5 to Bama and Florida minus 2.5 to Tennessee. Do you want me to just keep going and give you some other Bama lines?
Yeah, keep rolling.
All right, Bama's plus 4 at Georgia, minus 12.5 at home to Tennessee, minus 7.5 at South Carolina. They were initially minus 7 at home to LSU, and I would have been all about LSU there. They've moved that one to 6.5. I would still lean up LSU. I don't know if they let you buy half points on these games of the year this early, but if they do, I would still be okay with paying minus 120 juice buying LSU to plus 7 against Bama, and then they're minus 14 at home to Oklahoma as well.
Man, let's go back quickly to DJ Lagway because he's getting a lot of love, and I know he's a super talented player, but I've seen a couple of pundits coming out and saying that they think he's the best quarterback when healthy in the SEC for 2025. Do you agree?
I think he's got the best arm talent. He went 6-1 as a starter, and we're talking about a Florida team that had 3 losing seasons in a row going back to Mullins last year, and when he was starting, Florida was, below 500 in most of those starts, and he went 6-1. And the only loss was when Florida had a 7-point lead in the second quarter against Georgia, and he left the game with a hamstring issue. So I think he's got the best arm talent. But then, like the Tulane game, he threw 2 of the worst interceptions you'll ever see. I mean, he's still got a long way to go, and but he was a true freshman. So I'm not ready to say he's the best quarterback in the country. I'd say he's got the best arm talent in the country. We'll see. I mean, he didn't throw in the spring because of a shoulder. He's back to throwing 3 times a week. We'll see. I did bet him to win the Heisman at 16-1, just a small play. And I think Florida, look, the defense was terrible going back to the 2020 year, which you guys all remember when Alabama hung 52 in Atlanta on Florida's defense. The defense has been terrible for years at Florida after being elite for many decades. But in November last year, they played pretty good D. If the D is pretty good and Lagway's healthy, I think Florida's got a chance to be really good.
Brian, in 15 seconds, what was your reaction to your baseball coach acting like an idiot?
He did act poorly, and yep, I don't pay any attention to baseball, guys. You know that.
Okay. Fair enough. Hey, thank you for the pick. I'll text you if it's wrong.
Oh, and I'm sure he'll know.
Thank me if it wins.
Hey, Brian, thanks so
Thanks,
much,
guys.
man. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider, and the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. Busy hour number 2 next.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of Three Man Front. Pat Landrum, Conrad, Molly with you until 2 o'clock. You know, it's going to be a great summer at Smith Lake. If you're looking for a pontoon boat this summer, Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake is the only dealer on the lake to have Avalon pontoons. Avalon pontoons are known for luxury, comfort, and performance, and pair it with the most fuel-efficient engine on the water from Honda Marine. Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake also has Tahoe pontoons ready for family fun. Get it today with the in-house financing. See it all at PoorhouseBranchMarina.com.
800-239-WJOX. We open up the phone lines to you. Also, the text line is open, 205-834-9450. And we go there now. We're talking about the Braves and how dreadful they are to watch right now. Gavin sends us a text, and he says, me and getting ready every night to watch the Braves, and I'll describe the picture. This is a sequence of
Oh, boy.
a guy putting on his clown makeup in stages. Yeah, it's been a circus out there for sure. Drake, big Florida fan, says, Pat, ever heard of a soon-to-be president being blocked by a university? Because I've never heard of this happening.
You know what? That is a wild situation. If you did not follow what took place yesterday, the University of Florida Board of Governors, they have voted against giving a contract to the former president of the University of Michigan. I believe it's President Santaono. I think that's the president's name.
Is this the one that was there during COVID?
I don't know when Ono began his term at Michigan.
I do remember Harbaugh and him exchanging something on social media at one time.
So he had left the University of Michigan to go to the University of Florida, and it looked like it was going to be a rubber stamp type deal. But apparently the Board of Governors voted 10-6 to vote against giving him a contract. And supposedly it had to do with some DEI things that he did at the University of Michigan that the University of Florida is not interested in.
Oh.
Okay, he was there from May of 2022 through 2025.
Okay.
So it was after COVID.
It was after COVID.
But it was during the Jim Harbaugh.
I think it was when he announced a contract or something, if I can remember, for Jim Harbaugh. Maybe he got a bump or an extension. I think that's what it was. No, I think the president before him, it was a female. A woman who was running Michigan, I believe, at the time that COVID was happening, and she was taking.
But to answer the texter, I do not recall this, because my question is that the president basically resigned his position at Michigan. I mean, is this kind of like the transfer portal? Like, does he go in the portal? Can he come back out? I mean, is he calling somebody in Ann Arbor saying, hey, can I have my job back? Because they have just absolutely railroaded me here in Gainesville.
Yeah, I don't know if you still have sour grapes like you would with a coach or a player trying to come back. But I guess if he was a good enough chancellor or president at Michigan, maybe you'd bring him back. Or have you already filled that position? Now, I have heard of, and back then it didn't make the light of day because you didn't have the accessibility, Pat. But in this state, heard of a coach that was being speculated or being pushed by a private contingent of big-time influential people to be a head coach of a certain sport at their school, and the president nixing it before it ever got started.
Yeah, I've heard something like that, but to have a guy resign his position at another school,
like somebody telling him, no, this is all good, this is a formality, we'll vote on it, no problem, just like these high school coaches that have to go in front of the board or whatever. And it's in most cases
it's a rubber stamp.
It's a dog and pony show.
Sure.
And everybody approves it because they have the endorsement of the athletic director, the principal, of the school. Yeah, very interesting to say the least. We'll get to your phone calls. 800-239-WJOX. Let's start with our good buddy Steve. He's in Tuscaloosa, big Braves fan, and he's our friend. Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm okay, just like you, licking the wounds with each Braves game.
Yeah,
so
tough, man.
I got to call you out. I blame you. I blame me. I know what the problem is.
What?
The Braves won the World Series in 2021, and we failed to keep our commitment in getting tattoos.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad someone brought it up.
Wait, did you have a deal with someone that you were going to get a tattoo and you did not follow through?
I heard Landrum make that proclamation on the air, and of course I talk to you guys all the time through the radio. I don't know why you guys don't hear me, but I said I will do the
Is that
same.
what that is? Yeah, my lovely wife, she nixed that, and I really don't want to get into it anymore. I'm kind of tired of talking about it, but you're right. It was something that, yeah.
Do you
I don't
remember
blame
when
us. I wish I had that much power and influence, but I don't. I did ask her the other night. I said, "Hey, what would be worse? What would you rather me have?" And it was Nakahoma in the butt cheek, or what was the other one? Oh, I said, or holes in my ears like that guy, and she said neither one. You know what I'm talking
Well,
about?
the
where
gauges, the big.
Yeah, is that what you could?
Yeah,
you
they're
could
called gauges. Yeah.
put an elephant tusk through that thing.
Now, you and I had a conversation at Social Taco, one-on-one conversation. You came up with a wonderful alternative, and I think that might actually work. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Temporary tattoos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We might want to take that route to see how it goes. It's like that bet you won with Cole for assorted meats, and we thought you were going to get steaks.
Yeah, and I got Brunswiger and
That was a
spam.
great bet, by the
and-
way.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that, Steve, we might have a big announcement coming very, very soon about the next food challenge.
About the food.
Another
will
food
wait.
challenge.
Yep. And this is one that we believe. Well, first of all, Conrad, I think this is his best shot.
Well,
I
this
do
is
too.
the first I'm hearing of this, so.
Sorry, you missed our
You
meeting
missed
this
our
morning.
Pre-show meeting. You were late as usual.
Yep.
No, this is going to be big. This is going to be.
Should I go and get it out of the desk right now, and we can just break it out and
Yeah,
just
go
right.
down the hallway. Steve, don't go
Steve,
anywhere.
hang on.
Yeah,
Conrad,
Steve.
you control the phone.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Wait, do you actually have
No, we have it.
something here?
Absolutely.
That-
We have it here on site. He's going down the hallway as we speak.
I swear, if he brings a Kool-Aid pickle out of that room.
I think I would be the one crying.
Yeah, I
if
was
that
about to say,
happened.
Molly might vomit. I would cry.
All right, so Steve, I want to ask you as we're killing time waiting for Landrum to come back with his special food option for Conrad. You think the Braves will get rid of Snicker? Think he's safe?
Oh, my gosh.
Writing's on the wall. Writing's on the wall.
Okay. All right, Landrum is back. Landrum is holding in his hand. If you're watching us on YouTube,
No, I know exactly what that is.
all right, go ahead. There it is.
It's just one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a one-chip challenge. Carolina Reaper. I like their slogan. After this, hell should be easy.
So I just
Oh,
have to
no.
eat. I just have to eat one chip.
That's it.
One chip.
That's all you got to do.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it's not.
Conrad,
Yeah, what?
listen to my free advice. Don't take that path. Don't do something else. And
Is
by
it that
some
bad? Have you
imagination-
done it before, Steve?
No, I don't.
I did
got
it.
acid reflux.
No.
I'd never do it.
Landrum did it.
I did it.
And?
Well, he's here today, isn't he?
I survived. I completed the challenge.
Yeah, but like on a scale of 1 to 10.
AJ, on
Oh.
the talk side, he did it.
Yeah, and I watched him throw up in a trash can after he did it.
Well, he didn't win.
All right, so you think you can do this?
I mean, it's just one chip.
Okay.
This is your challenge. I think that you can get it done.
Steve does not seem to think that this is a good idea for me.
He's telling you not to go down that path.
Okay, Conrad, the only thing I could do is do your homework, do some research, watch some stuff
No,
online,
he doesn't have time
figure
for
this
that.
out.
Like, if he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it.
have a glass of milk, something like that. Just don't go in there.
Hey, do we have milk down in the cafe? Do we?
I think so.
Okay.
Is the ice cream guy down there today? Might need some of that too.
There is some ice cream left over in the freezer.
Yeah.
So we've got everything we need to do the food challenge now.
Somebody died from this.
Where?
Yeah.
That was like Scandinavia or something. Doesn't
Yeah.
count. Doesn't count.
Okay.
Mm-mm. They're not as tough as you.
It was in Boston.
Did you ever see
Some
Steve?
kid died
Steve
from eating
did-
one of these.
That's yeah. There were some other things around that. I think Shaquille O'Neal when he ate one on the
Oh, that
inside
was
the
good.
NBA.
Oh, that was good.
Yep. So, Steve, by the way, thank you for the gifts that you brought us last time. I love the cups. They keep my stuff cold.
Next time, I might see you guys next Tuesday, the 10th, right? I think that's next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, come see us.
So if anyone else needs any more aluminum cups like that, I'll bring them.
Okay.
I got a few extra.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And the bobblehead and all the stuff that you got.
Mhm.
Pat, some Cardinal stuff. That was so
yeah,
nice.
and you got obviously Molly a fantastic looking jersey from the Tigers. So
I love it. I wear it
Yep.
all the time.
I'm glad to make you happy. It makes me happy. And Landrum, one last thing. I'll do some research, maybe shop online, see if I can find some temporary Braves tattoos.
Thank you
Maybe
so
I'll
much.
bring that to you and put it in your hand, and the rest will be up to us. So.
Okay. Sounds good, Steve.
All
Thank
right,
you.
brother.
All right,
Y'all
brother.
have a good one.
All right,
Bye.
you too.
Bye.
Molly's over here showing me some disturbing things about the chip challenge.
Well,
I don't want to make light of someone losing their life over this, but I did not hear that was from this particular chip.
and it may have just been a pre-existing medical thing or something like that. But I'm just concerned because I looked up the Scoville, which that is like the heat index for spices. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with the show Hot Ones, where they make the celebrities eat the really, really, really hot
Yeah.
wings. And people really struggle for those. And the hottest sauce they do on that one is like 600,000 Scoville. That chip right there is 1.5 million.
Yeah, I will tell you, this will be the hottest thing that you will ever consume.
Okay, so it's really that bad.
Oh, it's hot. It's hot. That's why they put it in a coffin.
Can I just take
Box.
one bite of it, or do I have to eat?
No,
the
you have to
entire-
consume it. I'll give you some tips. First of all, you don't touch the
I was about to
chip
say,
with
can I
your
have
bare
gloves?
hands. Put some gloves on
Yeah.
before you do it. Don't touch around your face, your eyes, your
Yeah,
lips.
No.
Best thing to do, and be done with it. And then for the next amount of time, you will feel it.
So when-
Conrad,
when
I
do I
hate
have to
to
do this?
be the bearer of bad news, but it was from that chip. And they have since discontinued it.
How did you get it?
You know when Pat asked during Pat Ponders, what would you hoard if you knew that they were going to discontinue? I saved this just for you. I didn't know who it was going to be for.
How long have you had?
Saved it just for you.
How long
Have you really
had
had that for a while?
Oh yeah, since he did it, because we had a couple of them.
But it's sealed. These things don't go
Are
bad.
you serious? Oh, I'm sure they. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I mean it's sealed.
It's not as bad as that stinky fish that was sitting in that
probably,
can.
Probably not.
One chip.
All right,
chip.
when do I have to do it?
We'll discuss it. I mean, it could be today.
That's the chip.
Yeah, we're not sure yet.
That looks disgusting. Looks like a. I don't even know.
We
Looks like a piece of
we will
coal.
purchase you milk from down in the cafe.
Yeah, we got you. Hopefully it's in date.
Thank you.
And this would be the first one that he's actually won. This is a W.
I'm trying to set him up for success.
Yeah, this is a W, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
All right, speaking about a W, you need to call Goldston Tree Service if you're having issues on your property or if you're concerned about a tree that may fall on your house or your back deck or your car in your driveway. Call 205-337-4443. That is Goldston Tree Service, family owned and operated for over 35 years. And they also have the 24-hour emergency storm work number, 205-337-4443. That's at Goldston Tree Service. They can do the small jobs around your house. They can do the larger jobs. Whatever you need, allow Goldston Tree Service that opportunity. The number again, 205-337-4443.
We'll get back to your phone calls. KJ in South Florida. Michael, we'll talk to you. More text rolling in on Conrad's newest food challenge. Some of you offering advice, some of you offering warnings. Three-Man Front continues on this Wednesday, Jocks 94.5.
11:18, Jocks 94.5 on this Wednesday, 1-800-239-WJOX. Coming up at 12 noon, we'll talk a little CFP. What's the future look like in the SEC and the Big Ten? Are they still partners in crime when it comes to the 4-4-2-2-1 model? We'll talk to John Talty of CBS Sports coming up at noon.
A lot of texts, a lot of phone calls rolling in on a variety of different topics. 800-239-WJOX. Let's go to KJ. He's in South Florida listening on the Jocks 94.5 app. Hey, KJ, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for taking my call. Hey, listen, I live in South Florida, Miami Hurricanes. What do y'all think about this year? All right, I got three questions. What do you think about this year? And then what about last year when we had the number one seed and we didn't get in the playoffs? And I'm just kind of wondering what y'all think. I mean, wonder why that happened. And then also, I'm just kind of wondering what has happened in the last 35 years. I mean, we used to be so dominant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll let y'all comment. And maybe keep me on, maybe to come back. But, yeah.
All right. As for last year, yeah, that was unfortunate. As good as Cam Ward was, the defense let him down for sure. And kind of falling down the stretch. Carson Beck, you asked about this year. I think Carson Beck's going to be good. He's going to be good.
I do not think Carson Beck's going to be as good as Cam Ward was last year, though.
No. And as far as the last 35 years, really can't explain it. Yeah, it's almost like since Miami left the Big East, they've really not been relevant.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But so,
do you blame it on Cristobal, or do you blame it on what do you blame it on?
I think Cristobal is a great recruiter and all, but he has not proved it yet on the field, and we all know that he's kind of made a fool of himself, last minute decisions.
So how much time do you give him then?
This year only.
Okay.
We've heard that from another Miami fan too.
Yeah.
They're kind of done with it if it doesn't happen this year.
Yep. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate it. I was just wondering what y'all thought. I mean, because we pretty much have been irrelevant since '92. I mean, we won in 2003 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
good old Larry Coker.
Just wanted to see what y'all thought about all that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hey,